Can you just introduce yourselves to the audience? Yourselves, Bapare, multiple personalities, sorry. And I'm your self proclaimed lovely. Gee. So, a salt shot, and then of course, we have the chili.
Now that doesn't sound interesting.
हाँ हो गया निकल गई सारी excitement. हाँ
Peep.
so cute. Peep. She just said peep. Fuck भाई बहुत मिर्ची थी इसमें. How do you guys get the spiciest of chilies?
Why did you have it then?
नहीं नहीं कोई बात नहीं गिल्ट लेने की जरूरत नहीं है वो आजकल इंस्टाग्राम ट्रेंड है ना कि यू ट्राई लेमन शॉट ऐसे ऐसे होता है एग्जैक्टली वो है मेरे Hi everyone and welcome back to Guts, the IAG podcast. And I am your self-proclaimed lovely host, Shagunarya. And today we have with us Sana, who I like to call Santur Mommy. And you'll understand why, because she's a mom herself. And I don't think I've seen a more younger looking face than hers. But what are we going to talk about today, Sana?
Firstly, thank you, Shagun, for introducing me with a sweet
Santur
name,
Mommy.
Santur Mommy. So, we are going to talk about infant nutrition. In child nutrition, specifically infant nutrition, how your babies are transitioning from breast milk to solid foods and what should be introduced, what should be restricted, and all of that. It's going to be fun.
Can you just introduce yourself to the audience so that they understand why this is your topic of interest amongst a lot of things in nutrition, but why even this? And why have we chosen you to talk about this subject?
Great. So I'm Sana. I work as an expert functional nutritionist in iThrive, and I have a daughter who is 10. And I really love nutrition as a subject and feeding my daughter with nutritious food and looking at what are her requirements and if she's getting all of that, what her body demands, and looking at kids of her age and seeing what is the necessity they're lacking and all of that. So it really interests me, and I'm really passionate about nutrition in kids' health. Yeah.
Okay. So, see, when we talk about infant nutrition, that basically means from the time that they're born till about 2 years of age, right?
Yeah.
So, now the question in a lot of people's minds would be that what could be the food that you give to an infant, right? And this is where it becomes very important that you know the right kind of food to give. So, for example, we know we've studied this in nutrition that from 0 to 6 months, you're supposed to just exclusively breastfeed the child. So, mother's milk is the best thing, right? But after 6 months, we just have to keep on introducing few foods, right? And it has to be in the correct order, it has to be in the correct form. So what is complementary feeding? What is it that you give to the baby after 6 months? How do you introduce that?
So, firstly, when we talk about starting to feed the baby after 6 months, there are few things we should keep into consideration. The first thing is that their gut is still growing, and it is the first time that we're going to introduce the food. So, it's not just the nutrients or the nutrition of the food that is important, but also how easy that food is to digest, how hygienically and well it is cooked. So all of that is important. So I think the first food that should go should be very easy to digest, very light on the gut. So that is more important. And once the baby's gut is able to take that solid food or outside food, and that immunity is good enough to withstand what is going on from outside externally, then we start focusing on the nutrients.
I'm actually glad that you pointed this out because are there like any signs that the baby's body gives, or are there any indications that tell us that now the baby is ready for solid food, or is it just like that timeline period of after 6 months?
So it's different for every child. So we can't just conclude and stick to the fact that 6 months is when you should start feeding the solid food. But it all depends how well the baby is able to hold his neck or head, how well is the baby sitting. Sometimes the baby takes time to sit, like up to 8 months, but at least with support, the baby should be able to sit. We won't feed a baby when he is in a sleeping position. So these two things are important. And after 4 5 months, the gums becomes very strong. So see that the gums of the baby are grown enough to chew food. And generally by 6 months, some of the babies also get two cute little white shiny teeth. So
Yeah.
if they get that, that's also a sign that baby can be given food. And the digestive system also, because many babies are very they're colic, so they have a lot of stomach ache and bloating and all of that. constipation is very common between kids of this generation. So observe all of those things and then decide. And generally, doctors, pediatrics give that indication that this is the time to start.
Yeah. And I think we have to mention this here that if you're going into complementary feeding, which means after 6 months you're introducing solid foods or whatever timeline you think is suitable for the baby, it does not mean that you wean off completely of mother's milk. Right. So I think till about 2 years, mother's milk, the breast milk is also very important. So hand in hand, both of them go. But yeah, you start the introduction. So when you start introducing the solid food, are there any nutrients that you should be prioritizing for the baby, or is it like anything goes?
Yeah. So that is absolutely true that yes, breast milk is something very important up to 2 years because it helps with immunity and it has all the nutrients from the mother's milk that baby needs. And as it comes to in what order we should be introducing or what should we be focusing on in terms of nutrients. So when we look at the small baby, their organs are growing, their skin is growing, their eyesight is growing, their hairs, everything is growing. They're so small and tiny, right? So their need for nutrients is very, very high. As compared to us, it's much higher. So they need lot of nutrient dense food. So that is something we should focus on. And other than that, the need for iron is very high. They need a lot of proteins. They need omega-3 fatty acids. So all of this should be considered. But again, baby is small. So we should like start step by step and focus that the gut health or the gut is accepting that food. So, for example, you don't start with all these things soon after
Yeah,
6 months.
yeah,
So, it happens stepwise. So, maybe starting with rice water, then moong dal water, introducing moong dal water. Then, when the baby is comfortable with all these things. So, whenever we start giving baby food, we stick to one single food for 3 days. So, only rice water for the next 3 days. We observe how is the potty, how is the baby behaving.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So how is the baby behaving? Is he playful or he's a little cranky after the meals and all of that? How is baby sleeping? Um, After 3 days, we introduce the next food. So once the baby is comfortable to these basic foods, after maybe moong dal water, we would introduce some fruits because they have vitamins in it. It takes around 1 month, 1.5 months. After 7.5 to 8 months, then we would focus on the nutrients which I said, like iron, protein. So, giving maybe if the baby is a vegetarian, giving him sweet potatoes, which would help with some fats. Maybe giving carrots in semi cooked form to help with beta carotene. So, focusing on all these nutrients after 7.5 to 8 months.
Okay. So it has to be gradual. So you
Gradual.
start from the very basics, like you
Very
said,
basic.
rice, water, moong water, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
you gradually step it up, seeing how the baby reacts.
Yes.
And what role does the baby's gut microbiome play? I mean, it's a guts podcast, right? So we have to
Yeah.
talk about the gut. So
Yes.
what role does that play in the baby accepting the solid food?
Yeah, it plays a very important role. So baby gets the gut microbiome from his or her mother. So it describes completely how the digestion is, how the absorption of the nutrient is. So these days, if the mother is eating outside food when she's breastfeeding the child or the baby, generally we see that baby have colic and they have bloating and gas issues. So during such time when you start the solid food or complementary food, they don't take it very well, and that is why it is important that we take it very slow and babies exclusively breastfed till 6 months so that the gut microbiome is maintained or developed and good enough and the strong immunity. So only after that we start.
So, which actually brings me to my next question that uh, is there like any side effect of introducing the food, the solid food too early or too late in the baby's development?
Yes, absolutely. So if you actually introduce the food too early, their digestive system won't be developed enough to take solid food. That would lead to a lot of digestive issues. There won't be absorption of nutrients because absorption is important, right? We're feeding them because their body needs, but if they're not able to absorb, it will lead us into different problems. So if the child or the baby is fed too early, they won't be able to absorb, and they also would observe a lot of bloating issues. And if we introduce it too late, as we discussed, the need for nutrients is very high. If we introduce it too late, exclusive breast milk won't be enough for them, and they need the other nutrients that I spoke about to have a proper growth. So definitely should not be delayed a lot.
Yeah, because I remember learning this during our college days also, that these initial 1,000 days and all, these are explosive developmental phases for the kid, right? So it's very important that you get the nutrition right, you get the food right, the quality is maintained and everything. And something that I've actually been observing, and I mean, it had become common now. People are shifting away from it. Is the inclusion of processed foods, right? So that Cerelac had become like a very convenient option for parents to opt for. In some cases, it had become the primary food source for the baby.
Yeah.
So it's highly processed, and for a baby you need that natural food, right? So what are your 2 cents about it?
Yeah, so um, if we look at the ingredient list of Cerelac, it has more of sugar than anything else. And now WHO also recommends that we should be restricting salt and sugar up to 1 year. So introducing Cerelac is not a good idea, and the taste buds are growing. So everything is about how we introduce food to them. So once they are used to Cerelac, think about how they enjoy sugar as their main meal. So sugar is somewhere in their meals every day. So that is how they're growing. And these kids who start eating Cerelac generally are seen to be obese when they grow, because sugar was the basic taste that they had in their meal. So they crave for it, they like it. So definitely not recommended. And also, we've seen that these days people introduce outside food and processed food
Yeah,
very early. Like baby has started eating solid. That doesn't mean that you can like give, as I said, sugar and salt is something we don't want to give up to 1 year. So some things which is going to trick your baby's brain to get addicted to, which we don't want. So, and how can we deny the fact that it is so rich in toxic elements like colors, additives, flavors, preservatives? I mean, why put all these things in babies?
exactly, and it's
Yeah,
so highly processed.
so
It's
highly
very dangerous.
processed.
No, I mean, for adults it's dangerous. So imagine just for a baby, it'll
Yeah.
be too. I mean, it's a point to lethality.
Damaging, yeah.
Yeah,
And the other thing is, we now know that the nutrient requirement of babies is much higher than ours also. So we need to give as much nutrients as possible. If they're skipping one meal and having processed food which has no nutrients, you are actually depriving your baby from some important nutrients. So focusing on as much as nutrients you can give throughout the day is important. With processed food, that won't happen.
that lacks, right? And you mentioned that there are actually guidelines now that for a year don't give sugar and salt to the baby. So what? I mean, how does that impact the baby's organs? How does it exactly impact the development of the child? Is there like science behind it?
Yeah, definitely there is science behind this. So, the RDA recommendation for salt for babies is very low, and that much is actually completed through the fresh and natural food that the baby eats. So, they don't need added salts. The other thing, when we come to sugar, even here, the natural and the RDA requirement for sugar is also very low, and that also comes through fruits and the natural food that we give. When we give more than the required RDA, it impacts the growth of the baby. We have seen that the consumption of sugar is so high, and how it impacts the growth of the baby, brain development of the baby, how it increases the inflammation in such small children. Babies become hyperactive. We see that it also impacts their appetite when they have high sugar food. So all of these things play a major role.
Right. And see, I mean, for any new parent, right? It also like parenting maybe gets better with experience. I don't know. Not one. You might give me a better insight. But for any new parent, is there like a handbook? Is there any guideline on how much food should they be starting? Like the portion I'm talking about. How much should be given to the baby? Because is there like a risk of overfeeding or underfeeding? Is that involved?
That's a very beautiful question, because I don't think people think about it firstly. So like I followed something called as baby led weaning for my daughter. So it's where we allow the baby to choose for herself or himself what to eat, how much to eat, and to control also.
How does that happen? Like, how do
So
you
you
let
just
them choose?
introduce the food. We think that or it's safe for the baby to chew and hold, and we eat by the side of her. And watching us, observing us, the baby would really pick the food, observe the texture. They would eat with all their senses. They'll see how the food is looking, they'll smell it, and they'll put it on their face, some put it on their mouth, they'll chew it and enjoy it. And there, so baby would start enjoying food if the baby is hungry. When the baby starts to feel full, they would stop doing that. So they know their satiety signals very well, right? Uh, you know, pressing the mouth and feeding the
Yeah,
baby,
yeah,
even if the baby is rejecting
yeah.
food, throwing away the spoon, doing all of that is force feeding. So baby is rejecting food because of some reasons. Maybe he's not hungry, maybe his stomach is aching. So definitely something which would impact the satiety signals and the ability to decide how much to eat. So we should leave that question to the babies themselves. So see, I remember my daughter rejected mango at first because we started with bland food, right? No salt, no sugar. After 3 4 months, when we started introducing mango, like she spitted it out. I was like, what?
Were you
So
disappointed by
yeah,
that? I
very
mean,
disappointed.
yeah.
And that whole season she did not have mangoes, but then I introduced it again later and she accepted it. So if the baby is rejecting food, that doesn't mean we force feed them. Their taste bud takes time to grow. At first, maybe they won't accept few tastes, uh, but slowly, when their taste buds grow, they'll start accepting food. And you just don't give up. You keep introducing them without force feeding.
Yeah, also heard this concept that when you have to introduce a new food for the baby, right? Do it when they're hungry, not when they've like started a meal or they've just finished a meal and there's hardly a gap, because that means that they'll, ek to hunger se they'll be more
Yeah,
inclined towards experimenting
eating.
with the
Yeah,
food.
yeah.
So is that like, that's
Yeah, it's
true? You've
true.
tried it with your daughter as well?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
definitely true. So as a mom, you understand the signals when the baby is hungry, and feeding them that time is the right time to feed instead of like depending on the clock, like it's lunchtime or it's feeding time. So when you're hungry, like kids really eat well as compared to when they are full or diverted.
I mean, that happens with me also, so I'm not sure which age group you would put me in, but I mean, I get that feeling of hunger driven food
Yes.
experiences, right? But also, I have to pull you back into that whole processed foods and Cerelac kind of opinions, because see, I remember reading about this case where there was actually a person who fought in court and won the case that you shouldn't be advertising Cerelac and all in any of the commercials, right? So no TV or paper or any advertisement should be out about Cerelac, because that's really not supposed to be a good option. So don't provide it to the consumers, right? So what are the side effects of that processed food? Like, how dangerous can it be? How can it actually impact? And do kids, I mean, you've spoken about the reliance that they start having on these processed foods. So is it just like आगे जाके ये होगा, या फिर बचपन में भी is there like a chance कि it will lead to poor nutrition, it can lead to maybe even cases of ADHD, autism and all also. Has that been linked?
Yeah, yeah, it is linked. So we have seen that uh, the kids, so there are artificial nutrients added to Cerelac. We can't deny the fact that it has no nutrients at all because it's made for kids and children who are not breastfed for some time due to some reasons. So it has nutrients, but the other things, the texture, the colors, the natural food that the baby eat, they're not introduced to it when they are fed on Cerelac. And once they start or get addicted to the taste of Cerelac, the texture of Cerelac, they start rejecting other foods. And it becomes very difficult to transition them from there on. Also, um, babies are so small, so innocent. They don't understand what's going on with them. But their brain is also tricked in such a way that they don't like any other food or they don't enjoy any other food. And then the requirement for nutrition is not fulfilled with just Cerelac. So it's something very important that a mother should consider the other options that are available in the market, or sticking to natural food as much as possible. If somebody are breastfed and they just want to have quick options on the go where they're traveling, they can actually make their own kind of
Flours.
Cerelac at
Yeah,
home
yeah.
by different recipes. They can just like roast moong dal and rice and grind it. This
And
can be
store it.
used,
Yeah.
yeah, they can store it and just like boil it in hot water. So
Yeah.
it's like a runny smoothie khichdi
Yeah.
thingy. So this is one option. There are plenty of options
Of
these
course.
days. So
Yeah.
why choose Cerelac over all these things?
There also used to be this concept of ARF, which you were taught in college, that these are just literally flowers that you maybe sprout them and then
Yeah.
dry them and then grind them into flours, and you can just prepare it, store it, and prepare it. So it's as good as any
Yeah,
processed
yeah.
or convenient food option.
Yeah. So this is something very commonly done these days with ragi.
Yeah.
So they sprout ragi, then they dry it, then make a flour out of it, and you can just boil it in water and it can be a good porridge for your child. So these things are also quick. So there's nothing that like mm, makes us to go to Cerelac again and again because
Yeah. I mean, I think it's also the lack of knowledge, maybe because it's available in the market, right? So people don't really know the dangers that it has. So just highlight that what kind of disabilities can poor nutrition or any nutrient deficiency lead to in a child, like because of over reliance on these kinds of food.
Yes. So we learned about the nutrient requirement of a child, how the baby needs omega-3 fatty acids, baby growing age needs iron, calcium, protein, and all of that. When the baby is sticking to these packaged food, processed food, uh, these nutrients lack because the requirement is so high. So baby would be eating only this much, but their nutrient requirement is this much. So if you give packaged food instead of natural food, they would lack in nutrients, right? And when they lack in these nutrients, their brain development would be great. Like omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin A, and all of these is requirement for good brain development. And the brain is growing very rapidly up to 5 years. So brain development won't be great. If you talk about protein and calcium, then the physical health coming, like the bone health, the muscular health won't be great. So all of these things then would impact them physically and mentally. And if you want your baby to be smart and intelligent, maybe focus on the things that your baby need for a good brain. If you want your baby to be physically strong and active, focus on the things that baby needs. So instead of giving packaged food, if you give all of these things, their overall development and growth would be great.
Right. And I mean, now that you've highlighted what is the right kind of nutrition and how do we start introducing it, I still have heard a lot of people talking about that their baby is a very fussy or a picky eater, right? So, how do people and you can speak from personal experience, did you experience that with your daughter? And like you said, you went ahead with baby-led weaning. So, is there a difference in what kind of approach you have? And is traditional spoon feeding method also okay? Like, how do parents tackle that issue?
I think it's all about how babies are habituated or coded because it's mostly more about parenting than about the child. So it's important from day one, we help set those habits. Like you sit for meals together, there's no screen time when you're sitting for meals. Then you have a high chair for your baby or a small chair where the baby is sitting with a plate in front of himself. Even he can sit on a ground if he's able to sit. So all of these things are very important. And force feeding is something that we really don't encourage because that would spoil the relationship of the baby with the food. So if you feel ki your child should eat a certain food, and if the baby is rejecting it, just don't force them. Keep reintroducing it maybe after 1 month, maybe. So baby would actually forget the taste. So reintroduce it after 1 month, 15 days, 1 week, whenever you feel, or when you make it in the kitchen. So if the baby is not having beetroot and say you still want the baby to have, he's picky about it. So don't force feed, just keep reintroducing, and one day the baby would accept it. You just have it in front of him and say that it's so yummy, it's so nice, it's so healthy. But yeah, don't force feed, and the baby would take it up. And don't distract him with TV or any
Yeah.
other screen and force feed him ki dekho and khilao. So
I mean, a lot of times, like kids won't even eat, no matter what you put in front of them, if they don't have a screen in front.
yeah, because they are trained like that. So
Yeah.
it's all about training.
Training, I don't think that's the right word. I mean, they're not puppies, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's how they that's how they've been adapted to. Like
Yeah.
food has
Yeah.
become that screen time for them, which is
Yeah.
again,
So that's how the brain is conditioned,
yeah,
that you correlate. So, I have seen babies who would point out phone or TV when they're hungry.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So it's It's
And
a
I think,
bad
yeah,
relationship with the
and parents
food.
have a very, very critical role. I mean, they have a critical role in the baby's every decision. But here, I mean, setting that habit of not having the screens and not putting that reliance with the food, and actually, like you said, right, sit with the kid, show them how you eat food, sit at the table, and lead with example, because that's how the babies learn from what they see, right? And now that we've talked about babies, slowly they grow, they come into like they become a year or two and stuff, right? So we move out of that mashed food phase of that khichdi and everything, right? So next phase is about finger foods, right? So how do you like what's the best option for it? How do you introduce finger foods? And do you have like any tips like this is a good recipe I've tried and everything?
Yeah. So again, finger food would start when the baby starts sitting, holding, chewing properly. So maybe 8, 9 months, 10 months. It's different for every child. But yeah, finger foods can be started. And generally, when it comes to finger food, we stick to something which is not very hard, which is not very crunchy to start with. Something the baby can hold it well, or it won't break into like big pieces so that they don't choke. So something which is soft so that their teeth can chew it very well. So something like this, and something that the baby would enjoy. So like a sweet potato stick or carrot stick. Baby really enjoy all of these things. So that can be a good finger
These
food.
can be good options for the
Yeah, finger
baby.
food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've also seen videos of like carrot sticks, but with mayonnaise. So, not again, like give like, even if you have to give dips and chutneys and all, go for like home-based
Yeah,
options if you
home-based
have to.
option. You can give hummus or you can make a guacamole. So give something which is healthier but homemade.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah.
what seems wacky for me is like in my Instagram feed I have like like seeing like tiffin videos and everything. So a lot of time kids videos also come like dabbas for them. And usme they'll add like a pasta or something in the hot basket, and then they'll add few cut grapes or something of that sort. But they'll always have that sweet snack also. So या तो Kinder Joy दे दिया या वो दे दिया या like golden fish and all that's just like started coming to India. Any kind of processed food. So now then that baby what it does, वो जो खाना अगर न्यूट्रिशियस है उसमें से कुछ वो छोड़ के आ जाता है और वो सारा स्नैक्स खा के आ जाता है.
Absolutely right. Yeah, so I think there are options. Like you can give a date, maybe you can make a laddu at home with nuts and dates. So there are many options that we can try at home and replace it. But the first thing is like it's not important to give sugar and sweet in every meal. So I think once parents understand that, things would change.
So you can be as creative as you want to be with your
Yeah,
kids' food. And I mean, come on, there's like a lot of options in
lot
nature
of
itself,
options.
right?
Yeah,
So playing around, and YouTube has beautiful recipes of like
yeah,
all natural foods. There are cookbooks on it.
yeah.
So I think it's just a matter of getting into the effort, because
Yes,
every parent wants the best for their child, right? So
yeah.
it's maybe like the guidance also, like telling them that this is the right kind of
Yeah,
food that you can give your baby.
yes. Also, I think it's a lot about habit also.
Yeah.
So if you see a South Indian baby, he would be so happy eating dosa, idli.
Yeah.
And if you give that dosa, idli to somebody else suddenly, they won't accept it.
Hmm.
So it's about habit. So if you put a habit of giving Kinder Joy or something like that
Yeah.
in a meals, it's set in their brain that their lunch should have something like this.
Hmm.
So it is what you set for them since
Mhm.
beginning. We don't want that conditioning to be done. Like being an adult, we would say stop eating sugar,
Yeah,
stop
yeah.
eating a processed food with your meals. But now we see that it's not, it's because of the habit that is inculcated since they're babies.
Yeah.
So why do that? Why start such habits?
That's true. I mean, habit
Yeah.
formation is key here.
Yes.
And Sana, interestingly, you just spoke about conditioning. So I've had this a lot. Like I've seen a lot of examples of this. Ki, I mean, parents are doing something or they want the kid to be shant, so they're like, chocolate दूंगी अगर शांत रहे तो या कुछ भी ऐसे मतलब there's like always this reward based feeding that's there for behavior modification. So is
Yeah.
that a good idea?
Not at all. So again, their brain is tricked to need something sweet or something junky or whatever you give them as reward when they do something good.
Yeah.
So for them, that relationship happens, which absolutely is incorrect, right? So, looking at food as nutritious, enjoying the colors, the texture, and having it because you're hungry is a different thing. And getting addicted to it and connecting with it with some activity that you do is something incorrect. So, if parents inculcate this habit, it's going to impact. And this stays forever. So if a child is used to having chocolate when he wins a game or something like that, he would keep on having chocolate all his life when he wins a game because he would feel satisfied, he would feel happy, and it creates a certain kind of craving,
Emotional satisfaction
emotional,
out of,
yeah,
yeah,
emotional dependency or
yeah,
satisfaction.
yeah.
So it's something again is inculcated as a baby, so should not be doing that.
I think the takeaway that I can actually derive from all this is that whatever habits are formed right during infancy, during childhood, these are something that the child carries on, and not just habits, even health.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like you said, in between that, if you give a lot of packaged foods, if you depend on Cerelac, there are chances that the kid will have chronic conditions when he
Yes.
or she grows up. Right? So a lot of things. This is like if you have a solid foundation at this point, you're kind of ensuring a healthier future for your kid. And
Absolutely.
every parent, I'm sure, has that intention. It's just that maybe the right guidance, maybe time can also be an issue for
Yeah.
some people, all of that. I think even like planning a kid's meals and all can help them in advance, and like making those flowers and
Yeah.
homemade pre what do you call it?
Premix,
Premix,
maybe.
yeah,
Yeah.
premix, right. So all of that can be helpful in such situations. But Sana, I mean, if you have to conclude, would you like to give any tips to the audience from your own experience of, I mean, your daughter is like 10 years old, right?
Yeah.
So 10 years of experience, how has that been? And what can be the tips that the audience can take away from you?
The first thing is the kids would actually observe us, see us, and learn from us. So, keeping our food meal timings where you're eating together, eating well. If you're eating well, your child will eat well. If you're looking at screen when you're eating, your child will look at the screen. So they are completely observing us. So make sure you make a good food choice and you change yourself. The child will automatically learn. The second thing is not making connection of food with anything else like TV or making it a
Rewards,
reward.
yeah.
Yeah, things like that. Let food alone be a good time for the child to enjoy, um, experience the texture, everything. I mean, let that be a good meal time for him. And if he's doing that since beginning, it would continue.
And all senses involved.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
senses involved. He would be much happy and satisfied. The satiety levels, the satiety signals would be developed
yeah.
well. So baby would able to actually identify how much the baby needs. So that is something which is very important. Uh, don't introduce your child to any kind of packaged food or processed food till it is possible. I know the day would come
Yeah.
that he would eat outside and bring it home. But till it's possible, don't do that. You know, the simpler the food, the easier it is. So once you start giving fancy food, it's not just about fancy food, but food that's different from outside, coming from a packet. Kids will start loving it and they would demand it more.
Because it is addictive. I mean,
Yeah,
come
it
on.
is made like that.
Yeah.
So these packaged food have a proper research team to decide how to make so that the one who is eating should want it more.
Yeah, and not just taste wise, even how they're advertising and everything,
Yeah,
it should always be
everything.
like an addictive
Yeah.
factor that they have.
And once the child starts to get addicted to all those things, it's very challenging for them emotionally also to, again, stop them from having that. So it's better not introduce it at all. And you can make things at home. And seriously, the child won't demand all of these things if we don't have it ever.
Yeah.
So it's only from outside world that one day he would be invited to a birthday party, he would have burger there, and then it would start. But when as a baby he's trained that way, that or maybe conditioned that way that this is the food that we need to eat and that is something which is not good for us, they would understand that.
Yeah. Like, don't rely just on that. It's occasionally, of course,
Yeah.
anybody, even
Yeah.
adults, kids, and all, that's okay. But just to, have that dependency on it as parents, as children, that's when it becomes problematic.
Yes.
Right?
True. Yeah.
So thank you, Sana, for these tips and tricks. I am just hoping that all our parents listening to this, they really derive a lot out of this. But now we're actually coming to our fun part of the podcast, which is my favorite part, not for the shots, but otherwise, I love games. So we call this a gutsy shots, and I'm going to explain the rules of the game to you. So basically, they'll be asking us certain questions, okay? And we have to make a buzzer noise out of our mouth, and then we have to answer. The quicker person obviously gets a chance to answer. If you answer correctly, you get a chance to give a shot to the other person, okay? And if you don't answer correctly, then you take a shot yourself, okay?
Okay.
So it's
Cool.
like आगे कुआ तो वैसे नहीं हुआ ये क्योंकि I mean
हाँ.
there is a reward and otherwise it's jail time.
हाँ.
But we have really not so pretty shots. So
Wow, this looks interesting and colorful. I'm excited.
good, because I hope I give you all of these because I've been in enough of these podcasts and I don't want to take it again. But I will just tell you what all is there. So we have
Yeah.
the haldi shot, we have a lemon shot, we have ACV, so concentrated version of that. Then we have a very concentrated version of salt in water, so a salt shot. And then of course we have the chili.
Now that doesn't sound interesting.
हाँ हो गया, निकल गई सारी एक्साइटमेंट. हाँ ठीक है. So questions please. See? No, they don't. So a vaginal birth, of course, of course, that's the mother's choice and whatever helps her at the moment. But a vaginal birth scientifically is known to give a better microbiome and a better immunity when the child passes through the vaginal canal. So it just provides it to them.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Sana.
Yes.
What's your poison? ACV. Since I don't like it, this is the first one I give out.
Oh my god.
That one. First one. Cheers.
That was not easy.
Yeah. So that was not ACV, so that's still on the table. Unfortunately for me. Big gulp. Okay.
Peep.
So cute. Peep. She just said peep. How adorable was that? Okay. Yeah, peep peep.
No, it is absolutely wrong. It would actually increase the risk of allergies because breast milk something will help with immunity and protect the baby from getting into allergies and infections. So it's the other way around. Yes. Yeah. Okay, I'll not give you.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Cheers. This is much better than the other ones. Yeah.
Peep.
It was just too adorable not to miss.
Yes.
Okay, you do the peep peep.
Babies don't actually need added salt. The RDA for babies for salt is very, very low. So the natural food that they have has enough salt that is required for them. So up to 1 year, they don't need added salt.
Yay. Will I get added salt or no? You had that
Yeah,
shot.
I had added salt.
Do I have a choice?
Otherwise ACV and then.
It will burn my inside for 15 minutes.
God.
How do you guys get the spiciest of chilies? Peep. No. It shouldn't. I mean, if you have mother's milk, there's no substitute for it. No Cerelac, no cow's milk, nothing. I mean, and as it is a lot of packaged milk, which you get in packets, all these cow milk, they have a lot of hormones, a lot of additives and all. So avoid it at all costs.
True.
ACV for you. Gulzar.
I liked it.
Never heard a person say he likes ACV. Huh? Okay, yes.
Absolute peep.
Abso peep.
Yes. Yes, they actually have. So it's important that we give the baby chance to experience that, groom that. So instead of that, these days these abilities lost because we force feed them.
I really like the fact you said groom that.
Yeah.
I mean, parents have to be able to
Yeah.
see that and groom it so that it becomes
Practice
their
it.
own
Let them practice
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
actually. On that note, I'll take the last one. This is why I have spectacles. I can't see lemon and salt ka difference.
चीनी डाल लेती हूँ उसमें।
चीनी डाल लेते, नींबू पानी बनता बस। एक सेकंड, ऐसा वाला नहीं होता। वो आजकल इंस्टाग्राम ट्रेंड है ना कि यू ट्राई लेमन शॉट, ऐसे ऐसे होता है, एग्जैक्टली वो है मेरे। आई विल नेवर बी अ गुड फ्लोटेशन पर्सन ऐसे। Okay, yes, we are back. So after giving me that spice, thank you, Sana. I appreciate it. But it has been fun with you, and thank you for giving all these tips and tricks and all these takeaways that parents can take from this, and actually breaking it down, all that knowledge about child nutrition and especially infant nutrition. And if you guys want us to talk more about such topics, especially child nutrition, there are more age groups to it, right? Adolescence, early childhood, everything is involved, right? So if you have more questions, if you want us to do another podcast on the same topic, let us know in the comments below. Thank you, Sana. And how was your experience with the podcast?
Yeah, most welcome, Shagun, to have me, and thank you for inviting me. It was really fun. I enjoyed the talk that we had and the game too.
Aure wah. The only person who's gone happy from here.
Yeah, because maybe I
Yeah.
didn't get the spice.
Yeah, fair.
Yes,
I'll be
but
in
it was
tears.
really fun.
Thank you so much for being such a sport. And we'll see you again with another podcast. So stay tuned for more updates and let us know what you want to hear about more. Bye bye.